Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a Richard Mille RM011 Felipe Massa in titanium, both blackened and bare metal. You can see it achieves contrast by showing the raw titanium and then a DLC coating on top of it. So this is a watch that offers a lot of functionality. It is automatic. It's a big date. It's a flyback chronograph. It's an annual calendar. This is a watch that's also quite light at just over 113 grams. I believe it is 113.14 as I measure it. We'll talk about some of the dimensions for this watch, which was originally retailed in 2012. Taking a quick look, it is 41 millimeters across, not including the crown or pushers. I measure it 49.8 from lug to lug and then 16.3 millimeters thick. Let's throw this on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. And though it is large, it wears very comfortably. Part of that is the lightness. Part of that is the cambered caseback with a curvature that characterizes these RM011 watches. They're very easy to wear, even on a smaller wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters, and you can see that the watch, especially when you move away, proportionally it looks good. It's supposed to be stark. It's supposed to stand out. It is not supposed to look proportional or tiny or anonymous, but this works. The bombastic style, self-consciously larger-than-life ambiance of Richard Mille, the man and the brand, is captured beautifully by this watch. If you want this, then you want the RM aesthetic. If you want the RM aesthetic, you want this. Taking a look, you can see that it is very thick, so it's not going to slide under a cuff, though the lugs are not excessively broad, and it's actually fairly short across the wrist given its size. The strap, of course, is a factory piece, and you can see this probably would have been a better strap for the Audemars Piguet Spider-Man than the strap actually used on the Spider-Man. So it's rubber, it's molded. You can see a combination of red and black. The hollows of the case flank are continued at least into the upper reaches of the strap, which thins out considerably as it moves towards the clasp. You can see ventilation through these little red ports, and that'll keep your wrist cool. We have a GNF Chatelain double folding leaf spring style clasp, and that snaps shut. The exterior portion of it's customized for RM in DLC titanium with the little recesses in profile, as well as the spline screws that are a signature of RM watchmaking. Those spline screws channel through these little columns in the flank to make sure that the sandwich construction of the case is resolute and that amateur watchmakers will have a lot of trouble opening up this watch because of the unconventional screws. You can see on the reverse side that the watch is water resistant down to 50 meters, so I recommend you not submerge it. It has a push-down crown, think splash only. The crown and the pushers, they're made of a more obvious titanium in media blast, satin, and polish, whereas most of the rest of the case is DLC blackened. You can see there's some little marks of wear. Of course, you could always get another bezel if you send it back to RM if you really want, but for a lot of people, having just a few tiny marks is going to be liberating, because this is a carefully worn watch that looks great, but you don't have to stress about it being perfect. Now, the chronograph function here is a flyback, and it's a little bit weird because you have a superimposed chronograph hour and minute register down here, and then you have another chronograph minute register right here. This is your running seconds display, and watch what happens. A flyback chronograph can reset and restart without first stopping. It's great for timing events that occur in rapid succession. So flyback, just like that. Notice how both that 60-minute register and that red 60-minute register jumped back. You have two 60-minute format chronograph registers. The one at 6 o'clock is coaxial with the yellow hand indicating chronograph hours. And again, this is your running seconds. There are two sapphires. There's the upper one that is cambered and shaped that covers the dial. Then there's a lower one on which a lot of these numerals, printed features, timescales, and windows are actually applied. So we'll do a quick loom shot so you can see the watch in the dark. It's quite well loomed, and what's kind of curious is that some of these sub-register hands are also loomed. You can see the chrono seconds in the dark, as well as the superimposed chrono hours and minutes down at 6 o'clock, and then the standalone chrono minutes over at 9. The watch features a carbon fiber flange outboard that acts as the mounting point for the luminescent hour indices, but also as a tachymetric scale. If you want to gauge the speed of a race car around a course, pick a kilometer, and then the start-stop defined by the beginning of the kilometer and the start of the chronograph, the completion of the kilometer, and the arrested advance the chronograph. Let's say, boom, that's when the car crosses the kilometer. You take a look, and the car is going 300 kilometers per hour. That's how that works. Now, a couple of other things you're going to want to know. One, there is a hacking seconds function. Two, there is a quick set. And if you look, we've got a flush disc double-digit date right there. We have two wheels that are flush to each other. And as I make these changes, eventually, the quick set will advance this little month indicator that's hiding between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And so you're looking at the 6th month and the 19th. So that would be June 19th. It's an annual calendar requiring only one correction annually during the jump from February to March. Dubois de Praz handles the annual calendar and vertical clutch chronograph module on top, and it is a vertical clutch chronograph module. So when you start it up, it has no jump or stagger to the second hand. Turn it all over, and you can see the case is made by Valgine, which has always been a major stakeholder in RM. And you can see the movement, which is made out of grade 5 titanium. It is a custom piece for RM by Valche manufacture, the movement arm of Parmigiani. And as a result, it doesn't look like any other Valche base. RM011 is the name of this movement. And you can see we have these variable geometry white gold wings on the rotor that can be moved in or out by your RM watchmaker to change the winding efficiency of the watch. So if you're really vigorous and you don't want to wear out the winding system, you can slow it down. If you're really sedentary and you work in an office like me, you can speed it up. And it will improve the winding of the twin mainspring barrels, which endow the watch with a 55-hour power reserve and also ensure a very flat torque curve for consistent timekeeping. The rotor and the bridges are skeletonized in titanium, so you can see the works below. All of this is 68 joules, a high count because it is modular, one movement on top of another. 4 hertz beat rate. It has a 8 beat per second rate, just to translate that. It is free sprung for durability and precise setting. And you can see that it uses clear sapphires so that the all grayscale industrial aesthetic of the RM isn't broken up. The only exception there being the pivot stone for the escape anchor. And then you can see the clear sapphire. We actually have little rubber isolators at the 4 corners where the movement is attached to the case to endow it with a higher degree of shock resistance. And you can see the base plate's been re-engineered to properly fill this large-shaped case back. And there is a lot to love with this watch. And if you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.